You're welcome to the Life Wisdom Conference. This is the second part of season 2, episode 3. And we're dealing with the wisdom of thinking big for success. I hope that you have already listened or watched the first part, which can be found on this YouTube channel. And the full combined video of part 1 and 2 complete is also on the Telegram channel. So I hope that you are able to watch the part 1 because this is a continuation. And so you really need to have watched the part 1 in order to be able to follow this part 2. So I encourage that you go and watch the part 1, which I will show a link up there on your right so that you can follow it to go and watch the part 1 before you watch this one. All right. So that leads us to our third lesson, which is the wisdom of responsible risk taking. We have already dealt with the wisdom of thinking big and the wisdom of ambition. Now, the wisdom of responsible risk taking. Any successful person you can find today, that person took risks, big risks. The bigger your risk, the bigger the success. Or let me say, the bigger the success, the bigger the risk. So I wrote down the success involves taking calculated risks. You don't just wake up and you see people who are afraid to take risks. They are usually people who are not successful, or their successes are very small. The people who go for the big risks, they are those who succeed more, those who get more benefits, bigger benefits. The people who dare to take up the big contracts, because big contracts have a lot of risks. You can lose a lot of money, but also you can gain a lot of money. That's how the game is played. And so the wisdom of responsible risk taking looks at you taking risk, taking the risk, but being responsible, meaning that you are calculating the risk. So if you study the people who do this financial analysis and things, they actually have the ability to analyze risks, calculate the risk, the probability of it occurring, and then what can happen if it occurs, and they know whether you should take the risk or not. That's what we mean by a calculated risk. In some previous episode, I showed you a video where Elon Musk took a very big risk, where he had to invest his money in either Tesla or SpaceX, but he took the risk to share the money and invest in both of them, and both of them were able to survive. You see, it's important that if you are a big thinker for success, your mentality must be a mentality that helps you to take risks, big risks, because it is in the things that have big risk that your big success lies in. You see, you need courage for big things. Responsible risk taking is based on knowledge, training, studying the situation carefully, which will enable you to gain confidence to actually take the risk and be competent in executing whatever you are actually going to do, such that that risk will not occur, or even if it occurs, its effect will be very little on you. You see, and I wrote something in the beginning, a quote by Dr. Seymour Epstein. He said that super achievers, they don't waste time in unproductive thoughts, esoteric thoughts, or catastrophic thoughts. They think constructively, and they know that their level of thinking determines their success. The smaller your risk, the smaller risk. You see, some people, they think and they look at certain risks, they search for the one with the smallest risk. And usually the one with the smallest risk is the one that brings the smallest success. The one with the smallest risk is the one that brings the smallest profits. Let's be real. That is the reality. In life, you rarely find something that is going to bring a big success that does not involve taking big risks. Even if it involves a job, sometimes the jobs that pay big are the jobs that you need to take big risks. Sometimes you have to risk losing your whole lifetime's assets. You have to risk, probably you have built a career up to a certain stage and you are about to uh, be promoted to a certain stage in a permanent job. And then there is this other job that has just appeared from nowhere. I'll not say from nowhere, it's just an example, but I'm being realistic. That is going to pay you so much that such that your total life savings will not be able to. Just that it's a risk that if you take it, it's a job on contract. It's not a permanent job like what you are in. A lot of people will not take such a risk. They will prefer to stay in their permanent job and manage it like that. But I tell you that many people that I know who take the risk in some of those situations, they are those who usually enjoy. They take the risk and take the job, even though it looks like the future is not so clear. And most of them are able to turn their lives around. It's important to take big risks. Just that you must calculate and take the risk. You need sense. You need sense to be able to take the risk. That's why it says responsible risk taking. It's not just any kind of risk taking. You go about and then you are taking risk. You are taking risk. No, it's responsible risk taking. Responsible risk taking. And you see, I wrote something down there that the difference between stupidity and genius is that genius has limits. It's important that when you are taking a risk, you're able to know where to stop. You're able to know the limits. Because there are certain risks, it's so clear that this thing you are going to do is going to bring your downfall. There's the difference between something can bring your downfall and something will bring your downfall. That's why we are saying responsible. Do the right calculations, do the right studies, do the right analysis, and see whether this risk I'm going to take is worth it. And you take the risk. And if you don't need to take it, then you don't take it. And that is the point that we're making here for the wisdom of responsible risk taking. You need to look into your life, if it's your work, your job, or your academics. Probably it's your marriage, your relationship. You need to take certain risks. You take it. Especially when it's going to bring success in that marriage or success in your job, your career life and personal. Is going to bring success in maybe your business. You are running a business. You are going to take a risk. Maybe a certain government contract is coming. You risk the chance of probably, if you take the contract, probably you might not get your money early enough or something. Different issues. You need to take loans. But if you take, you should try take the risk and you see. And many companies that take the risk, they're able to get huge profits when they pick up such contracts that look risky. Just be responsible when taking your risks. And that moves me to a place where I would like to talk about the difference between mediocrity and lofty thinking. You know, I said in the previous sections, well, I was talking about thinking big. That you see, the opposite of thinking big is to be to be mediocre or just in mediocrity. is to think averagely, the way most of you think, and most of us think. We have low mindsets. We think, oh, it's enough. It's enough. Oh, this is enough. This is enough. But lofty thinkers have a high mentality. It's high, lofty, something that is high, worthy of praise, high thinking. And so I wanted to show some important differences and how we can turn around the mediocrity present in some of us into an ability to think big. So most of us, we set low goals, and that's one characteristic of being mediocre. Now, these characteristics, I must mention and give credit to, I got them from this book, The Magic of Thinking Big. And so I need to mention it so that if you want them, it's a long list. I just selected ones that are very important to me for this session, so you can visit the book and then get everything from there. So setting low goals, probably say you are a student, your capacity can actually help you you can actually make first class, but you set a goal that, oh, if I graduate with a second class upper, I'm okay. If I graduate with a B, I'm okay. That is mediocrity we're talking about. Your goals are low for you. They are too low. When I say low, low refers to you as a person. They are too low for your standard. I don't mean having a second class upper is bad, but with respect to your standard as a person, it's low for you. To another person who is a below average student, to such a person, setting a second class upper as a goal, that person will be having a lofty thinking. But to you, it might not be so. So it is based on you as a person. You must set your goals according to how good you are, or you could be. Let me put it that way, you could be. So don't think low, don't set low goals. If you are working in a company or if you own a company, you need a target. You want to say this year we need profits. We want to make profits of 10 million, or we want to make profits of 20 million. You set it, set the high goals. You don't say that, oh, this. Set the high goal and then put in measures to meet it. That is how we succeed. You don't set a logo. Logos, that's mediocrity setting in. And then when we look at the future with mediocrity, a mediocre person views the future as limited. They don't see anything, especially in a time like this where economies are suffering, things are not moving well in most countries, different currencies are falling and whatever. And so people begin to see the future as limited. They don't see opportunities when the opportunities are being before them. And that's a sign of mediocrity, limitation in your sight. They seem not to have any sense of urgency because they see it as limited. They see, for example, somebody can see that, oh, there are no jobs in Ghana. I'm in Ghana currently, if you are listening from me from somewhere. Fine. But you say, oh, there are no jobs in Ghana. Oh, let me sit in the house until if I'm lucky to get one, then fine. No, that's a mediocre person we're looking at. But another person sees the future as promising. He's able to look at the future and be positive. In other sense, you can see that a mediocre person is more likely to be a pessimist than an optimist. More likely to be a pessimist than an optimist. Then in terms of progress, mediocre people, they believe in the status quo. Oh, when you come here, oh, Everybody, that's how we do it here. Nobody strives for anything better. So for example, say we have a football club, and or what for say the football club, what is important for them is to win 10 out of 20 matches that they play. So for them, if they are able to win 10, they are okay. So such a mentality is a mentality of mediocrity. And all the people in such a team, or let me say most of the people, it might not necessarily be all the people, but most of the people in such a team are mediocre minds. You see, there is no sense of, they don't believe in expansion, like doing something better. They say, oh, it's enough. 10 is enough. We are okay. 10 wins is okay. We draw some and then we do some. And I think Ghana's team is like that, football team. When they went for the World Cup recently, what did we see? They just plan, oh, we'll let's win one match and draw two. Or let's win one, lose one, draw one, or this. They form a certain combination and then they use it. There's no target. They don't have a plan to win all their matches. And that's what happens with mediocre people. When you when you immediately you set low goals like that, immediately you are okay with the status quo. Like, oh, if we just win one, we are fine with winning. Enough is enough. And then you are bound to fail. But if you believe that, no, we can actually aim at winning all our matches. Why do we play if you are playing not to win? Why are you playing? But if we believe in always getting something better than what you think you can, at that point you're going to be able to be better. In terms of competition, mediocre people with mediocrity, they compete with the average. They compete with people like them, and their companions are people like them. They surround themselves with people of average minds, mediocre minds. But if you are a lofty thinker, the people around you, they are people with progressive ideas, large progress. They are always thinking of something better to come. They think high, something high. If they do a work for you, someone who is mediocre, if he does a work, and someone who has a lofty mentality is doing something for you, you can see so much difference in the diligence that is attached to the work that is being done. And the lofty people, they compete with the best. They surround themselves with the best and compete with the best. So they are always bent on improving and becoming better. You see, Israel, I mean Isaac Disraeli, he said that it is a wretched taste to be gratified with mediocrity when excellence lies before us. Why will you choose to settle for something less when you can go for something that is far better? Why? Why will you choose to settle for less when you can get something that is far better? Why? Excellence lies before us. Why should you choose mediocrity? You can get A. Why do you choose B? As a student, you can finish or graduate school with a first class. It is in your ability. You can do it. So why do you choose not to sit down and study? As a worker, you can actually work and get promoted to the highest level. Why do you choose to be okay in your seat? You have been working there for the past 3 years and you haven't graduated to the next level in your career. Why are you okay? Why are you okay being there? You don't aspire to be bigger than what you are currently. That is mediocre mentality. You don't aspire to have a better career. If you're a businessman, you don't aspire to expand your market. You don't aspire to make greater profits. You are just okay. Oh, every year we get between 2 million Ghana cedis, and so you are okay with the clients that you have. All you are interested is milking the clients you have. You're not interested in expanding the market. What happens when those clients one day decide to leave you, or they get somebody who they think is better than you, what will happen? Your company is going to go bankrupt. You must think high. And I hope that we're able to pick these things. And so let's remember these matters when it comes to the wisdom of thinking big, which we are learning from the ant. The ant is a very lofty thinker. I showed you the buildings, their ant hills, how they have been built. And you can see that the ant does not joke at all. The ant does not joke at all in his buildings. He doesn't joke. Look at the structure. Very ambitious. And that is what is expected of us all. We need to use our mentality and do big things. We need to do big things. We shouldn't settle for less. We have to think big. Let's be ambitious and let's take the required risks. Be courageous enough to take the required risk and be responsible in taking those risks. And I can assure you that we'll meet ourselves at the top. That brings us to the end of today's wisdom conference. You can feel free to send me an email or contact me through. You can find me on LinkedIn, and we can delve into deeper matters concerning these. So thank you very much for joining this afternoon's wisdom conference. For those of you watching on YouTube, I appreciate your time using your data or internet connection to join and to listen or watch whatever that I have shared with you. I admonish you all to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I see a lot of people who watch the videos but do not subscribe. That's not good. It doesn't help us. So please, I admonish you all to subscribe to the channel, and then let's share it. Share these things to your siblings, to your friends, your workmates, your colleagues, and then let's help to promote the Life Wisdom Conference, since it's something that is helping us all in one way or the other to succeed. Again, I say thank you. Have a wonderful time. Bye-bye.